What are you doing?
I'm having a Zen moment.
A
Hi, you
Zen
guys.
moment.
This is Ginger Cook, and we're going to be painting a lotus flower in acrylics with a sort of a Zen feel. So I'm in my Zen mode. Let's get all calm, and we're going to have a good time. I'm going to do it on a 12 by 12 black canvas. I'm going to show you how to trace the image on. Make it really simple, so don't panic when you see this design. You can do it. I have faith in you. Let's just relax and see what happens next. See you in a few.
And now, without further ado, I have the distinguished honor and privilege of presenting to you the Queen of Color, the Mother of Artists, globally acclaimed, award-winning master acrylic artist, and the star of our show, Ginger Cook, as she once again mesmerizes her audience with the daring do's and don'ts of painting with acrylics.
Okay, so when I first painted this, I did it on a little 8 by 10 canvas with purple background, kind of purple-blue background. And the more I looked at it, the less I liked it. You know, that's fair. I mean, we all have things we like, and you may love it.
And again, that's why we do a small one before a big one.
Yeah, we do a small one, and I thought it would look so much better. Here's the original photograph, which apparently has been all over the planet. You see this in every spa commercial, and it's, you know, you know, we're allowed to use it. So let's just
use it.
Let's use it. And I thought a black canvas. This is Mars Black, and then I thought it would be very nice to just, and this is 12 by 12. I'll move it slightly over here so I can make sure this petal comes out. And I'm just going to tape this on here and use the transfer paper. And I'm going to tape in the painting. We're going to paint it in. And I think it's going to be really nice. The only thing I'm going to do slightly different is I'm going to raise the candle up. I felt the candle was a little short. If you're not doing a 12 by 12, though, you could fit this on a 9 by 12 and leave it just the way it is, okay? So it would just depend on what you felt like doing. And so I'm going to show you this here. We're going to just tape this down, and we've got some Sorel transfer paper. Let's see, this side up. I always like, John writes this for me because it's, you know, who knows, okay? So this is going under here like that. And what we want to have next is a ballpoint pen. You want an actual pen. And I'm looking.
You got one, McQueen?
I'm sure I do somewhere. Here's one here, kind of a brown one, I guess. We can use that. Ballpoint pen, let's see, is it right? Yeah. All right, so make sure that the canvas, you know, it's just parallel the candle to the sides of your canvas. And I'm pretty happy with the location of this. And let's make sure that it writes. Does it write? Do you see the white there? So, all right, then we're going to have fun with this. I'm going to have fun. I expect you to have fun, too. This on and put this out of the way. I also lit the candle in my picture. I thought if we were going to go to all the trouble to have a meditation picture, we ought to at least light the candle. All right, so you'll see this is where my candle starts. So here we go. We're just going to do this. I'm going to come around and do this petal. I'll do the outside ones first, and then I'll go do the inside. Otherwise, I'll get confused. And particularly since I'm talking to you, I might get confused. Is that covering all the way? Didn't go all the way this way. We pulled this way a bit. There we go. That didn't quite go all the way. Not that I need it, but you got to look at this stuff, right? All right, so we're going all the way around the outside. Here's the outside of our vase. All right. And let's see, move this out of the way. So I've done this side, okay? Here's the down part of my candle. Now, all right, so we've done that. Now let's just look, see if it actually transferred on. Let's just take a quickie peek. It did. All right, so that's encouraging. And the reason you use a pen, and I'm going to ask John to print this picture out for me again without all the lines on it, because it's a nice reference photo. And it'll even be better if we didn't have the lines on it. All right, so here's this. I'm pushing pretty hard, you guys. Pushing pretty hard. And you see, when you do a pen, you can then see where you've been. If you do a pencil, sometimes it's not sharp enough. Here we go. Okay, it's doing it. I think I want to tape this edge down now too. It's getting a little, uh-oh, that was dumb. Well, I did that side, so I should be okay. All right, so now I want to say that this is, here's a petal here, here, and here's one here, and here's our candle right here. And I'm not going to, I think I want my candle taller, so we're just going to leave that to percolate.
Here you go, McQueen. Another
Awesome.
clean copy.
Okay. So it seems like there's one here, and there's some sort of little fuzzy stuff right there. It's amazing what you see. This photograph was sort of, they played with it when they took the picture. So what do you call that when they play with it, John?
Manipulate.
Yeah, but I know they kind of overexposed it, or they did something, or underexposed it, but...
Well, that's a fake flower. If you look at it close, it's a fake flower they used.
All right.
So they made it too hot, and it wasn't photographed the best.
But this is such a famous photograph.
Famous insofar as everybody's using it.
Yeah, I mean, every spa and their uncle is selling soap and massages and everything off of this. All right. That's what they do. So we'll see. We'll simplify this a little bit, but not too much. Now, I was not convinced about these flat petals over here. I'll put them in for now, but I'm not sure. I didn't like them in the other one, so chances are I'm not going to like them in this one either.
I don't know, you're making the candle taller now.
It's taller, so they may fit where I didn't feel like they fit in the other one. So I think that's pretty much, I don't see any more lines I have to draw on. I think this came like this. This came up like that. I guess we didn't get that one in. Oh, here's one sneaking over here.
And that's why you use the colored pen.
Yeah, so you can really see it, and it makes a big difference. All right, I feel pretty good about that. What do you guys think? Yeah, huh? That's pretty good, yes and yes?
Just missing the candle.
So we're just missing the candle. So the trick is to just take you can use this paper over and over again. Incidentally, if you want to know where to get it, go to our Amazon store, and we'll put a link to it. We have a link to an Amazon store now, don't we, in the
Yeah.
down below?
If you do gingercooklive.gallery/Amazon, it'll take you right to it.
Take you right to it, and it just isn't that convenient place to buy it. And I tell you what, it comes in. I like these small sheets. You can buy it in the roll too, but I like these small sheets because you can use them over and over and over again. And chances are, if you're doing small paintings, you should be okay with that. So this is here's our picture now.
Well, even on a larger one, like the other night, we used 2 sheets together.
And you'll notice I'm using a T-square to make sure that my candle stays straight. Okay, let's move this over a little bit. Like that. Here we go. I want this up, like I say, a little taller. And I'll make sure that I've got whatever height. I think that's a better height. It just, for me, that's a better height right there. Let's like the top of this. Barely take it like this. Now, this is interesting because we're looking up, so the curve is up like, let's see, this could be a little larger.
You push it.
Huh?
Push it from the back, like a mechanical pencil.
All right, so I'm challenged here, pushing it from the back. What do you do? Oh. Oh, all right, so you said push harder. Okay.
I'm sorry. My fault. I should have specified.
Very good. We're just going to curve that up just a teeny bit like this. And then here's the top of our candle, like this. There we go. There's the top of it. And I think I'd like the front flame going this way now. There we go in the center, and then we'll have a little flame coming up like that. Okay? So that's where I'm thinking. And you're right. I think these, if we didn't make them the screwy color that they were, just made them another. There's like, this is a lotus flower, this is a lotus flower, and this is another one in the back. So if we said that was hit, and then let's take this vase and do the same thing. Let's draw a bottom of our vase. All right, because this is one of those vases where it's at some point it's the lines have to be straight. Does that make sense? I'm going to move this up here so you can see what I'm talking about.
You're not clipped on there, or you don't care?
Oh, thanks. Good point. That's why, there you go, something like this. We're not going to draw all these in, but at least I kind of want to know where they go. Does that make sense? There we go. So we're just going to say there's our vase, and I'm going to straighten this out a little bit. Just change it a little bit. And then again, we're not going to have anything in here anyway. So I think what I want to do here is bring this petal down a little bit lower, like this. There we go. I'm going to bring this down just a little bit, like so. And just say like this. There we go. That's this petal on this flower. So just bring it a little bit down. And I'm going to, what happened to this one? This one came. I'm going to bring one down here like this. This is here, and I'm going to bring another one down like this. I mean, as long as we're making up flowers, I can do it as good as the next person.
Oh,
Okay?
probably better.
Probably better, huh? So this one just, I think there were two here. This did this. There we go, like that, and there's nothing there. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm imagining him being. So we know that, for instance, certain things are going to have to happen for this flower to be as translucent as that. We're going to have to paint, mostly we're going to have to paint white. So we're going to start with the white and magenta. We're going to do a bunch of titanium white. Okay, you guys, if you're using student grade paint, it's going to be difficult to paint over black. Take the moment and go to the art store and get some professional titanium white. Golden makes a very good titanium white. I would recommend that.
We'll wait for you.
Well, John, you're so funny.
Well, won't we wait?
So I'm looking for my magenta. I think I'm out of, can I have some new Holbein magenta, please? Because those are the colors we're going to use. Incidentally, you can get this nifty little pencil there too. What's neat is it erases really well. One of our members suggested, Karen, she sent it to us or suggested we buy it.
Whoopsie.
Yeah.
I don't have any more Holbein magenta.
Do we have any magenta?
You have used it all.
Okay.
Uh-oh. This is a sad day. So while that one guy's going out and getting titanium, I guess I'll go out and get some magenta.
Well,
We'll
go
be
into
back.
the storeroom, but we have magenta somewhere.
And you used it all up here, right?
Well, we might have a little bit left in a jar tube somewhere. Just thought if you had it, we would get it, right?
Well, let me go see if I can find some.
You know.
Do a song and dance.
Yeah, okay. So we have to do some stuff anyway, you guys. While John's looking for that, we need to take a brush and paint our candle. So let's start with the white paint here, like that, big brush. Now I want to, there you go, there you go. This is your first coat of paint on this. And because we painted the canvas black first, this is important that we get this right. Yeah. So then the question is, could I have just done a white canvas and then traced it on with, say, red transfer paper and then painted black around it? Yeah, you probably could have done that too. But, you know, yeah, you still would have to paint it white. Couldn't paint it white. You can't just go right over the gesso. You still would have had to paint the flowers white. Either way, you were going to have to paint them white. So, so now what we're doing is we're just going to start painting in the flowers. So here's this one coming around like that. You find some magenta? Because I know we've got a box of, John, we've got a box of golden over there on the right. It's not, it hasn't made it to the storeroom yet. There might be some in there.
Nothing's in the storeroom. I have designer.
Designer magenta is the same thing.
Well, let's use that because that's what I got.
Okay. Yeah, we can definitely use that. We can use that.
We are out of Holbein magenta, though.
Well, we have a shopping list.
It's a sad day.
Now, there's no water on this brush. Please notice
paint.
that.
Pure
Just
paint.
And well, where I am painting white, I'm leaving a little space where I need to see where the flower goes. So if you're a little confused, I'm leaving just a tiny little crack which I can fill in at a later date. Yeah. But we're getting our design.
Is that a 1/2-inch angle brush?
Yeah.
One of your favorites. Where do you get
Well,
those
for
at?
big, you know, for a big brush, it's really nice. And again, we like to talk about our friends over there, the brush guys, because they have been so generous to all our people that watch us on YouTube. And it doesn't matter what kind of brush you buy, whether one of the art stripper brushes, my daughter or somebody else. If you use my name with no spaces, Ginger Cook, all one word.
For the discount coupon
They
code.
give you that for the discount coupon code. You get 50, what was it?
5% off.
5% off, and
I think it's free shipping over something now.
it's free shipping over something, right? Whatever
I
that
don't
is.
remember what it is.
Yeah, well, you'd have to look. I mean, they don't sponsor us or anything. I just like to pass on deals. That's the reason we have an Amazon store, is to kind of give you one central place to go find things. You know,
Well, the brush guys, they're in our age group.
Yeah, they're in our age group. This was the
And
second
they're nice
business
guys,
for them.
very supportive,
Kind
like
of-
Ginger said, supportive of the artists.
And so, you know, and I like to, you know, John and I are a senior citizen business. A lot of the guys that watch us are in that same situation, seniors, and everybody deals with finding yourself, you know, at an age where you could retire, you can keep on working because life is interesting. And these guys have found life to be extremely interesting, and they keep working.
And they're enjoying brushes.
And they're enjoying the brushes.
That's a good little niche to get into.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all they sell is brushes. You can't go there and buy paint or anything else. It's brushes. Anything
Yeah.
to do with brushes.
Yeah, I think I can put these in here. Put this one in. I don't know that you have to have everything, but just kind of. Then these, because these were the white ones like this. There. This was a really neat white one. I'll leave a little bit of a line for it. Just a tiny little line to just, you don't need to leave much. Just so that you'll come back and fill it in. This is just so to help you know where this brush, where this goes, right? So it really does work, doesn't it? And, I mean, you can see this flower, even though
It almost looks cool just in black and white, just like it is.
it's kind of cool in black and white, isn't it? Yeah. So then we're going to come around here, and that one's coming like this. And we've got this one coming up here like this. One coming down like that. And then what I did was I thought it would be nice to have another one coming off here like this. Make that a little lower. Kind of balance out the...
You gave a little bit more room when you enlarged it.
Yeah, I had a little more room to just sort of expand this. You know, if you did this red, it could almost be a poinsettia, couldn't it?
Darn close to it.
I mean, kind of. If you'd made this into a Christmas painting, just throwing that out there, you guys. Wouldn't take much.
Put a few holly berries around it and call it good.
Yeah, you know. So,
a multi-purpose lesson right here. A twofer.
And then up here, let's just say here's the top of my candle. And that's pretty. I mean, I think that's really pretty, and we haven't put the vase in yet, which we can do. Probably not with this brush, but we can put it in. All right, so at this point, what I want to do is, let's see, here's another little one. I'm going to think about drawing it. There. Wow, nice, huh? So what makes it feel zen? I think it's the vase. This particular vase has a sort of a zen feel to it. And I think that's probably why. But to do that, we would have to have a different brush. We need a little one, little tiny angle brush. So here we go. Because it's the curves are sort of this is kind of key here. I followed these curves around. Oh, I see another little petal right here. Might as well put it in. Okay. So then there's this outline of the vase right here. And then the vase is less about being outlined and more about these lines that we're putting in that eventually fade to nothing. And we kind of straighten out as they go down. Make sure the paint's really flat on your brush.
And what do you mean by that, flat?
Well, in other words, when you put it on, there's a little glob. So what I do is I flatten the brush and wipe it all off. So it's still on the brush, but there's no globs.
I got you.
Right?
So you kind of really push it into the bristles and make a knife blade out of it.
Flatten it out and flatten it out.
Yeah.
So that's my...
that's how you get the line.
That's how you get the line.
All from one single brush.
All right, so that's our vase, and I think I wanted a little bit more round on the bottom here. I flattened it out when I drew it in, but I'm going to round it out here. Just a hair. There. Okay. So that's, we're not going to show this side, just this side. Okay, just sort of a tricky thing. We're not showing that side. And now, probably the best thing is to dry it a little bit. So we're going to do that.
Sounds like a plan.
I'll be back in a few, you guys.
I try to get them in 30-second spots, which some of them are 30 minutes.
3 minutes. Well, okay, what can I tell you in 30 seconds about... Well, I coughed there. I lost 3 seconds there.
And now you're blabbing.
Now I'm panicked. But listen, don't you panic. Become a member of the Ginger Cook Acrylic Painting Club on Facebook. Join a merry band of artists. It's free, it's fun, and you can place to show your acrylic paintings off and get tips and get all the gossip about John and I. And they were the first ones to know we got engaged. You could have been in the know if you remember too. So I'm saying that real fast.
Maybe they didn't know that.
Oh. Well.
Did you know?
You ought to watch more videos, then you'd find out. So be sure to share this in your playlists. If you're enjoying the video you're watching, I hope you are. Surely you are. And thanks for subscribing to our channel.
And we're back. As a brief comment about our Facebook Clubhouse. If you're not a member of that, we strongly suggest you join now.
It's free, it's fun. Everybody's sort of a happy place.
Everybody's sort of a happy place?
Well, it's happy in the sense that never has heard a discouraging word. How's that?
Oh, I like that.
Home on the range, right?
Yeah.
Home in our club. Where it's okay to flub.
The flub?
Okay, never mind. Well, maybe not that. But all right, so here's a little ultramarine blue.
Oh, we're putting out some colors now, are we?
Some magenta.
Let's,
And I've got black out here, Mars black, in case I need to repair something. And I'm going to put something out called titanium white in the fluid. And I'm going to we're going to do a little experiment here. I'm going to really shake it up.
there's a little ball in there that you can hear rattle around.
I don't know if I hear a ball in this one. Do you think there's a ball in this one?
There was the other night I was using it.
Well,
or was I using a littler one? I was using a smaller one.
Yeah, the smaller ones all have balls. Let's see.
Oh, shake it up anyways.
Well, I shook it up pretty good, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So then I'm going to go back to my larger brush. Now, I had a lot of water on it. It's been sitting in the water, so I'm going to really wring that out. Okay? And to make sure I have no water. And then I'm going to come back on here. I'm going to give this another coat of paint. It's a little more fluid. Do you see that? It's a little smoother. And I want to just see, it's the same opacity, which means
Same covering power.
Same covering power. Okay, but I just want to come down here and...
That really looks like it did a good job.
See, do you see how much whiter this is? And they're telling you what, if this flower, I found that out doing the first one, that if you don't get this flower white, then it doesn't really look right. So you see how nice that is? And so we're gonna, now look here, look at this next leaf here. So this is kind of, we'll just chat with you while we're painting the roses white, right? We'll just chat. See, look at that. See how you couldn't really, you saw some gray coming through from the background. And so 2 coats of white are essential. And if now what I can do, now here's the trick, I can go ahead and not worry about the lines. And you know why? The little black lines I left, because they will then look more gray. Does that make sense? When I cover up the lines, they won't cover up completely. Because of this, the gray will, the black lines will then show sort of gray lines at this point. Okay, so I know that that's in here. And I'm going to just I get more paint each time I do it. Okay, I'm going to cover this like that. Each time I do it, I'm just keep dipping in the paint. There. Okay, so you could kind of, the first paint sort of made like a groove in the record. I don't know if that makes sense. So that when you cover it, when you cover the petals, you'll still see a slight outline of the drawing on there. See? Isn't that tricky?
Very tricky.
and we'll do it again. So this has been an adventure for us this winter. You're watching this video because John and I are traveling, and our first stop, it was Shanghai, China, and then
on that particular trip, we visited Japan and Russia.
And yeah, Japan and Vladivostok, Russia.
The other side of Russia.
The other side of Russia. We saw St. Petersburg earlier this year, and now we're seeing the other side.
Just to make sure there's really two sides.
Yeah, I guess there are. And wow, it's so interesting, John. I could just see the outline of my drawing here because
Just
of how
enough,
we did it.
yeah, just enough so you know where to keep going.
Yeah. So, of course, it's sort of exciting to be able to see all these places. So in order for us to travel, John and I had shot, I don't know, like 40 videos before we left. Between the Academy, the Wave and Water Masterclass, and YouTube, we did about 40 videos. All right, so now, as you can guess,
it's a pretty white painting.
It's a pretty white painting, right? Some of you go, well, I like that, Ginger. Let you just stop there. That's pretty. I think I'm going to go ahead and put my flame in like that on my candle. That's nice. Don't you love how the brush is? You just kind of bend the brush and it does that. You just bend it and twist it and it does that neat little candle flame. This is kind of cool, right? So then, now what? Well, we got to dry it one more time. I know this is kind of boring because we're just chatting and doing it, but you know, if you don't take the time to dry, you'll regret it later.
You're going to have a hot mess.
So, and because this is the second coat, we're going to dry it again.
Hold on a second. Okay, we can do that. Here we go.
You know, when John and I first got together and became business partners 5 years ago, and he and his wife were living in Michigan and I was living in Houston, Texas. And through very sad circumstances, his wife passed away not too long after that. And in her memory, because she was such a generous person, Karen was such a generous person, we started a foundation in our art academy when we got that going. And it's called the Karen Little Scholarship Fund. And when you donate to that, you help other artists join the academy for a week, 6 months, a year, and give them a chance for an art education that might change their life. You know, you can say, hand someone a fish they eat for a day, you know, teach them to fish, they eat for a lifetime. Help someone to learn to paint and really fulfill their destiny as an artist, and consider contributing to the Karen Little Foundation Scholarship for Artists. And guess what? For every dollar you put in, we match it in our donations to help other artists prosper and really learn to paint.
And we're back.
We're back. Okay, so I think we need a few more colors out now. Not that we did anything with the others, but nonetheless, we probably need a little yellow. See what we can do. We don't need a lot of colors for this picture.
It's a fairly simple picture.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. The part that's going to require patience on your part is the drawing in the white. Okay. So they've had right around this candle right here at the bottom. This was this orange color, and it just kind of, we're going to outline this petal. And this is the bottom of this candle right here. And we're going to go up a little bit higher with that. Okay. Now, that's just magenta and yellow. Now, we want to have more yellow going up here like this, and some white. Let's just get a little yellow and white going. And just blend that in. Use your finger, whatever, blend that in. You know, you can wet your finger too. Did you know that? If you're trying to blend something in, you're not sure it's blending, just take your finger and blend it. Okay. Keep going up with a little bit of light yellow, like this. A little bit more yellow in that. Okay, so we want this part of the candle to be a little bit oranger down here, and as it goes up, it softens out into this lighter color. Just going up and down like that, kind of blending that out. Now, that's really pretty, isn't it? Just that. Then we're going to take that same color, maybe go up here on our candle flame like this. A little bit of white and yellow in here. All right, so there's our little candle flame right there, which I like. Just we can enhance it a little bit, maybe a little bit. There you go, something like that. There we go. So this is our. There you go. So we've got our candle, and that's really pretty. And if we wanted to get it a bit darker, as we got down here, take a little bit of magenta and ultramarine blue, just a tiny bit. If we wanted to say, and I'm looking at my photo here, there was a little bit darker right in this section, a little bit of shadow right here. And this little petal was in relief. Now I want that to kind of blend a bit more, so I'll just take a brush and just tap that out. Flatten it, just squish it down. Just pounce that dark line out like that, okay? There's my little shadow, and there's a little bit right here in this little section right here. Little bit of an outline on this, but very tiny, okay, on that petal. And let's just take a little bit of that and a little bit of a blue and magenta and come up into our candle and just do that, do the
wick.
Do the wick. All right, now you've got an option here. You could either glaze over this white, which we could do. Here's some satin glazing medium, and I'm going to show you what that does. Because it's so white. Now, this is such a watercolor looking piece. Let me just show you the reference photo. You see how watercolor looking this is, right? So we could try for that effect with some glazing medium and the color. And let's see what that does. I didn't paint it that way on this one. I went ahead and did just the paint, okay? And that was okay. But let's see what would happen if we were to take some glazing medium and a little magenta. Okay? Let's see where we've got here. And let's start back with these because they need to be darker anyway. Let's just see what happens if we put this over here like that. Just glaze those back. That's pretty. They're very soft, right? That's very, very soft. You can mop some up if you got too much. You can just kind of wipe it up a little bit. And if you wanted that a little redder, you could take a little bit of magenta and yellow, make an oranger color. Like, for instance, if you were saying you wanted this a little oranger right here, maybe there, something from the candle like that. You put them like that, and that's pretty. That could be, that's effective, right? Okay, you could do that. Or, so, the other color that I want to get that yellow off my brush now because I'm going to be playing with purples. Here's a little magenta and ultramarine blue, which is our purple color. And you see, let's see, if more magenta makes it more of a violet color like that. So there's that's this purpley color. And we could, we know we've got some purple color going across this petal here like that. And this is just glazing. And let's just see how we got. Let's see, do we like it? And it's okay. I mean, I think I almost want some phthalo blue too. I feel like that's a color that would be helpful. Where'd that go? Here. Let's see if that doesn't. Because again, with glazing, let's see, tiny bit of phthalo blue and magenta. What do we get there? Let's see what kind of color we get.
A little bluer.
It's a little bluer. Because, oh, well, phthalo blue is like kryptonite. So let's come over here like that and say, all right, I want this to be a bit lighter. There you go. I wanted this one a little bit darker, maybe even up here, right? So, I mean, that's okay. And that's certainly one way you could paint this, and we can do a little of that too. Like, for instance, we know that we want this to be lighter under here. And if I wanted it bluer, I would just do very little blue on this one, see? Just barely touch it. And when you do something very white, you can glaze over really anything that's white. And you can see, like, I can almost lift off some of this and pull it down like this and say I want it to be lighter, like that. You can erase it at this point. But I personally, I think that's not how I want to paint this. I just want you to give you that option, all right? I think I want to take
And
white.
to get richer colors with the glaze, what you have to wait for them to all dry between each.
Yeah, I
each
think we're going to
application.
go ahead and use white and color, and go ahead and do it the old-fashioned way. But I wanted to, you know, sometimes it's nice to know what your options are, right? So here's a little bit of white and magenta.
You'll get a cool effect with the glazing, but it's a lot of patience because you have to build up each layer and dry between them
Yeah,
to get your colors to intensify.
yeah. So I want this a little whiter right there. And right now I'm just glazing around, not glazing, but I'm just painting around very softly around. And if I do magenta and blue and white, it's really pretty. That's a really pretty. If I add white to that, that's a very, very pretty color. Almost a periwinkle blue. I say I want some of this color up here like that. I just want to keep everything sort of pale. There's just a little more white on my brush, and just come around here like this and say I want this. It's kind of a purple. This leaves sort of a petal, sort of a purple one. There you go, like that. So we're going to paint these in as, you know, kind of magenta and white's pretty. Here we go. It's a little bit pink right there. Maybe some veins in this one. And let's take some white and just say here's some more white right here. This is where we're starting to layer our colors. I know I want this petal to be very white, so this is almost my third layer of paint on it. Okay. It's not almost, it is. And I've got these sort of magenta-like streaks going up of it from the bottom. So I'll take advantage of the fact that I'm doing wet white now and then adding color. Okay. Yeah, I like that better. But I just wanted you guys to see what you could do. And this is a good kind of painting to experiment on. This one's a little bit bluer here, like that. Just a little bit of a white tip. And same with this. It's coming down. There we go. A little bit of blue and magenta. You'll notice I'm leaving a little bit of a white edge, and I can take it like this and pull it like that. A little bit of a white edge. Wipe the brush, pinch it, and then pull that white edge just like this. Okay, so this bottom one, I think I want a little bit, just kind of a little bit more in the shadows over here. I'll just paint this, just tint this up a little bit darker, like that. So what are you thinking, John? When you see something, you know, it's an interesting painting, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. It's a peaceful painting. Even to paint it is kind of meditative.
It almost wish we had some. It's hard for us to put music to these because
No, copyrights all over the
copyrights.
place.
If somebody thinks it isn't, somebody thinks it's their music, when then you get in trouble. I'm just not interested in doing that. Got this one a little bit darker here. This petal. Okay. So now what? On the right side, it's mostly magenta. Let's move this over here a little bit. So over here on this one up here, it's mostly magenta. So we're just going to paint that leaf in there like that. And it's very clear and bright because we've had a chance to emphasize the white. The same thing here. We're going to say that this one right here is going to be magenta right there. Pinch the brush, and then the other half is white. So we put some white on the brush. And so it'll be kind of white, but more of a pink. There you go. Now this one, take some ultramarine blue and white. This one, and a little bit of magenta. This one is more of the periwinkle color. And this one right here is just, we'll bring it down like this. That's this tip here, like that. Okay. We're just sort of varying our colors here like that. But I have to say, I like the clarity of this so much better, don't you? Than the first one.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just got to do something. People say, what can I do to fix this painting? Hey, here's a news flash. Start over. You saw how not to do it. Now let's do it differently, right? You know, so okay, but how could you make it better? And sometimes starting over is just the thing to do. Sometimes you can save it, and sometimes it's better to just start over.
Yeah, you learned how not to do it. Give it another go. And again, that's why you do it small before you whip out that 30 by 40 canvas.
Exactly so. Exactly so. Now we've got another darker one sneaking back here, all by its little self. There we go. That one goes here. Wow. I'm so glad we're doing it this way, you guys, because I'm already liking it so much better. So much better. In fact, I feel like painting over this right here. Okay. I like our periwinkle blue tones. This one is a little bit, it's not quite so pink. Ooh, too much color, so let's take a little more white to that. Put a little of the purple in it, like that. So you see how we're layering this flower? And it's really kind of cool the way we're doing it, I think. Because we're saying this one here had a okay, and then what's back here? We had one here that kind of went, this one kind of tilted this way. All right, so we've got that. And what I do is I have a video. You probably don't realize this. When I'm looking up, I'm actually looking at a monitor to see what I've done. It's like standing up and backing away from the painting. So, I mean, that's kind of my plan here. And it works pretty well, too.
It gives her a little, lets her see it without being on top of it.
Yeah. So I can back up and kind of assess what we've got going here. So here we go, some more magenta over here.
I definitely think the black background works a lot better too.
Yeah, it just, yeah, I do too. The purple background, I thought, fought with it. And the black background, this is darker right here. The darker background was not the way to go on this one. I mean, the purple. So that's light right there. And then it gets very magenta-y down here. Okay, so this, watch your lights and darks on this. Hey, you know, print out the photo if you need to, or print out mine. Watch your lights and darks where you're going with this, because that's going to make a difference when you're doing this. Watch your lights and darks. You can build them up. You know, usually in acrylics we start with the darkest color first and go lighter, but in this case we're starting with our lighter colors and increasing them in value, right? Increasing the, you know, adding more color as we go. Let's see, we had another little petal right here that just stuck out, okay? Now this one came under here like that, this little petal right here. Kind of overlapped this one. And this is where it got a little tricky as far as the design went. This one had like a shadow right here. You see it right here, the shadow that really kind of came across here. And it was part of the bottom of this. But I changed this a little, so I'm changing this to, came across here like this and created this dark line. So I need, and then this was like blue under here. So I don't have it quite as accurate as it is in the photo, but that's all right. Now we'll go back into the white. A little bit of light here, and then we got a little magenta on the tip. Okay, so a little bit of contrast. Here's a little magenta on the tip of this. A little bit of contrast. A little bit of magenta on the tip of this. So as we move our picture, it really is, I think it's pretty. It's one of the things you can ask yourself sometimes is, what can I take away and not ruin the effect? That's one thing that's easy to ask yourself when you're painting something. What can I take away and not ruin the effect? So in this case, we're keeping the layers of paint like this. We're bringing this down. We're keeping the layers, but we're simplifying the colors. Very just brush strokes, not a lot of, everything's very smooth. Does that make sense? And you don't want to go over it too much. Like for instance, I know that I want this to be a little more purple right there, but the magenta right there. Okay? But for the most part, you want to just sort of keep it as simple as possible. Now these bottom ones are very white in the photograph, but they've got a, there's like a dark, it's almost a dark purple to them too. There's a little bit of that color. So I'm looking at here, like right here, where this one is sort of underneath that one, and it's a little bit darker here, like that. I don't want it too dark, but maybe this one is like, maybe more like this one here, like that. So we'll add those, and I don't know that I necessarily want them stark white. I think it can have a little, they can have a little color. So there we go. Don't think they need to be stark white. Just because it's in the photograph, you don't have to do it. This photograph was manipulated a lot, so you've got to take that into consideration too. Here's some white and blue, and there definitely was some blue So there definitely was some blue colors in some of this, like this. This was, right here, this was blue. Sort of light blue color. And some blue shadows over here. They just have to make sense when you put them in. And let's pull a little bit of blue along here. A little more white with it. There we go. And then I want something a little darker over here. The blue has to come, the blue purple has to come around this one. Somehow. And then this one has to look like it's in front of that. Somehow. And then we have another one right here, which we're not talking about that much. So at this point, I probably would have to, in order for that one to show up, I have to dry it, but I think I can just do that. I needed to layer this on top. It's the only way to do it, like that. Okay. And this is our light petal here. Okay, so remember, I don't want a solid line here. I want all this sort of fuzzed out of focus, okay? No solid lines, yeah? Just kind of blend it out. Okay, so I think that's, I mean, I don't know. I think that's kind of cool. Don't you think that's kind of cool, John? I think this is kind of cool. Hello, John?
It's looking good, yeah, absolutely. It's different than the first one for sure.
Yeah, because I had a chance to think about how to do it. You know what I mean? The first one, this is why we recommend that you do something, you know, just take your time to
And we
do
always tell
something.
people, if it's something new, do a small one.
Like, for
But time and
instance,
time again, we get the personal art coaching. Oh, I did this 20 by 24. What do you think?
now I'm going to come up here on the candle and add, no, that's not enough white. Here we go. See, I'm out of white. Here it goes. I want a sort of a very pale blue up here on this candle. Right up here. Okay, right up here like this. It's not quite white. I know it looked white. It's not quite white. Okay.
If you use your fingers like that, does it become a finger painting?
I think so. I think it does. Yeah, a little bit, right? Okay, so we tone that candle down just a hair, and then we have some white on the right side. It's very white. The white side is pretty white. Okay, and just bring it down like that. All right, so that's kind of cool, right? And I like the taller candle, for instance.
Yeah.
I think the taller candle
Let me
makes
back out. Let's get a full perspective now, what we got.
So you can kind of see that where I need to come up here on the side here. There, okay, with that candle. There you go, there's my candle. Now, I would like to just do the sort of orange yellow stuff around here so that it looks kind of neat. We need to glaze back our pot. Here's how we're going to do that. Glazing medium and phthalo blue, yeah? All right, with me on this? And we're going to come up here like this. And we're going to come around. That white's had a chance to dry. We're going to come around here. We're going to glaze this pot over the white that we had here. Maybe even do a little ultramarine blue with it. Just get it a little bit darker right in here.
More of a shadow area.
Yes, it's kind of in a shadow thing here, right? So we glaze this pot just a little bit where the white is. Okay, and then when we come back over here, we're going to make it pretty dark. I'm going to put ultramarine blue and magenta together because a little glazing medium. Let's see what we get. I want this to be fairly dark here. So you can kind of see it, but you don't. Does that make sense?
Because that's the part fading into the black itself.
Yeah, and so what happens is, though, is that now look what happens to these leaves of these petals when
They're
you do
popping
that.
out.
When you do that. See, when we pop these up here like that, put that at an angle and do this. And so now we've got, it's kind of cool, isn't it, the way that works? Just going to keep
It's
that
like
at
magic.
an angle, and then I want it very dark right there on this vase. And I'm trying to think, well, that was sort of a cool colors. Now, what else could I do? I need to do, because this is where you can glaze again. You've already painted it, but you can always go back and glaze over what you painted. You know that, right? So maybe, hit a highlight or two, or somewhere you need something a bit darker. Here's the glazing, a little bit of magenta.
Or if you got a hot spot you want to turn down.
Yeah, you've got a hot spot, and you can just keep it pretty thin. So, like, for instance, right here, I need a little more contrast. I could glaze it right back here like that. See what it did over the colors I've got already. Nothing too much over here, but for sure we saw it right there. Of course, it's got to be dry. It's got to be dry. If it's not dry, it doesn't work. Did I mention that?
Yeah, I think I've heard
Your
that.
paint has to dry. Well, I might have not have mentioned it this time. And if you didn't know that, you might have written me and said, oh, I just had a hot mess. I was good till I glazed it, Ginger, and then I had this hot mess.
Got to be dry.
Now we can put a little bit of white highlight accent somewhere. Maybe like that. Where could we put it up like this? Where could we put it? Here's the tip of this. So this gets kind of, I think it's an interesting, it's not the kind of, I gotta be honest with you, this isn't probably the kind of thing that I would think to paint. But on the other hand, it can be very effective. Now we're gonna go back with a little white right here, right on top of this. This edge right there, see? Ooh.
That.
All right, so
Momentary freeze.
we're just one little freeze. That's all
One
we
little
did.
freeze.
Look how nice this looks. I just think this is really, I think this is outstandingly nice. And I want you to see how much cleaner it is than this one.
Oh,
This one
definitely.
just got too busy, and this one is not.
It's
right?
more meditative, like.
It's more meditative. So you just got to, there, let's just do this like that. See? It's more meditative, but you still want your darks and your lights. Now, in his original painting, he had some darker reds here on the side. If I did those, and this is where you can get kind of crazy. Here's a brilliant alizarin. And if I were to take glazing medium with that, okay, and let's see, maybe some magenta. Let's say if I want, he had this very dark red on this side, right here. There you go, like that. And he said this was a red flower back over here that were more in the shadows. So these ones were kind of back behind us. So he said there's that. And that doesn't look too bad then. In fact, I almost see a little bit of this color in here too, right? Barely. Okay. So that's where you can take like a red and get it pretty dark right here. Next to so this flower, this petal right here shows up because this one was because those ones there were a little bit, those ones back there were a little darker. Does that make sense? There. So I think that can be effective if you're doing it judiciously.
Ooh, another 25-cent word.
I know. I've just been full of those today. It's just so interesting.
I'm running out of money.
All right, we're running out of words, so I want maybe a little bit of this color right there. Just to
hey, remember that Academy piece that we have, the gal or
Oh
guy?
yeah, we have a really great Academy piece.
Let me just pop that up for you folks for a second.
And yeah, look at this, because if you're like into meditation pieces, I love this one in our Art Academy where someone's meditating, you know, against on the rocks. They're sitting out looking at the ocean, and I want you to think about that, because most people are distinctive from behind. So if you wanted to make that your friend, what you could do is just change the hair. And it could be anybody you know sitting there. It doesn't have to be that person. Yes?
Yeah, just so we'd share that with you. That's on the Academy, gingercooklive.gallery.
That's it. Okay. Here's a little bit of this color under here. A little bit on this tip. Over here. I want just a little bit right here. This tip right here on this petal. And now we're going to put I want a little more white. And I think I probably should dry this. And the other thing I want to show you is that we've been doing such amazing things. Do you have any of Taz or any of, not Taz, but Tricks or the violin or anything that are being released in our Academy? If you haven't seen these.
They're being shellacked at the moment.
They're varnished, but they're probably dry by now.
You want me to buzz over and get you one?
Yeah, I want you to see what's happening. I mean, when we do stuff like this, there's so much in the art, in learning to paint. And, you know, you start with small stuff, but you can get so much further. All right? And as we're doing that, as John is finding that...
Don't move yourself around too much, and let me go get those, gang.
I'm going to give some of these another coat of white paint. These petals right like that. Just a couple of them need a bit more white. There, see, this is my fourth coat of white or something on this. Same with this one right here. And this one right here on this side of this one going right up the candle. Maybe I'll even make it go up the candle a bit further. Yeah, let's just bring that up the candle a bit further. That's very nice. And so is this, with this little white tip right here, right there. Sometimes you just have to go back and put some of the white. Well, I guess what I'm doing is cleaning it up just tiny bits.
Would you like my queen?
Point.
Are you all right?
So yeah, I'm good here, and I love the blue and the purple in here like that. That's so pretty. And then you take
I like that. Yeah, I like that addition of the blue. Oops, I can't go that way.
Few little white highlights on this. You don't need much. Just kind of play with that a little bit, and wow, that just so pops, doesn't it? And then the top of this. Remember, I said this side was a little whiter, so I'm going to pop that up like that. As it comes down that side, it's orange. See, on this side, we get it nice and orange down here. This is where having bright colors can be so
fun.
So fun when you have a really bright color. This is a very hot red right here on the candle. Just coming up like that, maybe like that. There we go. Just not too much, but boy, when it's there, see? So that's, maybe we'll do a little, let's do this, a little bit of red and yellow here, make a little flame thingy. Little dot of yellow up here on that wick. Um, you put something beside me. I need to put the bottom in on here. You'll see in the picture that's got this sort of light blue. We're going to add a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit of something down here,
Kind of like a table.
to kind of suggest a table. But I have to say, I love the clean black look of this myself. I mean, I love that a lot. I think that looks really nice. And this could almost be off the canvas. Sometimes it doesn't hurt to put something off the canvas, but let's just make this brighter on the top here, this top petal, right, like that. Top of this petal. There you go. Love that. Same here, like this. Let's see, what do we got going here? All right. So that's kind of cool. We still need to do a little bit of our white down here. So what I want to do here is I'm going to put some white. And remember what happened when we did that? Do you guys remember? The dark
Dark bled through.
the dark bled through, right? First coat. So if I do something like this, maybe come under just a little bit further than in the photo. Just a little bit. Then when we dry it, we'll glaze it back with some blue, and it should be really pretty. And we'll also just kind of erase some of it. Like here's a little black here. I want this to be a little bit more like that. There you go. A little bit more of a space in there. So while this is drying, let me show you this painting that's just a couple paintings that we're doing. Are you zoomed out, John?
I am zooming out.
I love this painting. This is one of our Academy tutorials. And I think something's poking that here. I got to move this. And with the violin and the letter and the inkwell and the feather pen and the books, I think this is terrific. And this is one of the, it's part of our book series in our Academy. I think you can kind of see it. You see how beautiful these tones are. This is the kind of stuff we teach. This is what we call an ultimate lesson, which is you need all these other skills that you build up to do it, but you also get help when you paint it. And then the next one I want to show you, I almost need you to come get some of these.
Please.
Kind of protect them. This has got to be what made my all-time favorite for the year for animals. This is
Trickster.
Trickster, the card dog, instead of the yard dog or the guard,
guard dog.
It's Trickster, the card dog, and he's based off an older painting from the 1800s. We talk about that and show you how to do that. These are large. They're 18 by 24, and they're larger paintings. And again, this is part of our Ultimate series in our Academy. And then we've got, of course, many of you, if you have not seen Taz the Tiger, this is another 18 by 24 that is already that's been released. Seen a lot of these come back. Notice the way the eyes have a tendency to almost glow on you. Just so cool. Love this. And of course, it's been varnished and all the colors are popping out again. So those are just a few things we wanted to share before we kind of finish this. One of the advantages of having an older brush or something that's not so, you take a good brush with a good point on it, you can really ruin it scrubbing, okay? So this is a dry brush, and this is some white and yellow. And I want to suggest the candle. I'm going to take a little bit of red with that magenta, one little orange, and I'm going to wipe this off. And I want to just come around here like this and suggest the fact that this candle is glowing a bit. Don't make a perfect circle, please. It's not a popsicle.
Mm.
The light's glowing, so try to get this a little bit more radically uneven. See what we're doing here like that. And then as you want to come closer to it, as you come closer, you can intensify the color just a little bit as you come closer, like that, see? Just in a couple places, intensify that color. And then let's do that same thing, sickle red and yellow. You know what I want? I want cad red medium. But this is where I want my hot red. So I want a little bit of this red in here like that. In my candle. Just a touch of that. Do I want any of that in here for color surprise? Yeah, look at that. Little tiny bit of cad red medium in here. Put a little bit of that on there. Okay, so now this has got to be dry by now, okay? So then what you're going to do is we're going to take some of this glazing medium and probably phthalo blue. And I think it hasn't dried out too much. And let's just cover this. Let's just do that, like that. And now we're going to take a little bit of ultramarine blue, make it a little stronger, and on the edges, I'm going to just do this. Then I want to take a little white, just in the middle here. I'm going to come out like this and lighten this up, like that, and make this sort of, just don't go too close to the pot here. I'm going to say this is our table. And it's just going to pull it down to the bottom here, like that. Maybe a little phthalo blue down in here. So that is, I think, kind of a neat effect. I think I need it a little bit lighter here. Yeah, yes and yes. Here, let's do this. Let's bring this down about like that. Okay, there we go. There's our dark vase. Now, take some of this black color, and because that's your background color, and go back and tighten up some of your petals. What I mean by that, if you've got some that the edges are not really, you got some chalk left, or you've got some edges like where they're not as perfect as you'd want, go back and just clean it up a bit. See, even that made a difference, didn't it? You don't need to do much, but well, I don't know what you need to do because I haven't seen yours. So when I say I don't need to do much is probably more accurate. I don't need to do much, but you don't know what you need to do. Maybe I'll give this a little more space there, see? So allow the flower to breathe a bit. And maybe I'll come down here and just give this one a little more space. Right up there like that. Or here and here like this. And let's just, here's where I had the chalk lines, right? I'm going to come up here and just do something like that. And again, just barely see this. Again, you don't see the vase too much. And if I wanted to, I could say it's all black. I could add a bit of magenta to this color down in here if I wanted. But I'm just going to experiment with that a bit, right in here like this. just a little bit, but
It's kind of like giving it a warm glow under there.
yeah, that's exactly right. Kind of give it a warm glow, right? And even here, because we lit the candle, right? We lit the candle. I want to see if I'd like anything down here like that. And it doesn't because it takes away from the blue, so we're getting rid of that, okay? You don't want to do that because the blue is certainly cool. Okay, there we go. There you go. So I think that's a cool painting, and maybe you know somebody that likes to meditate and really enjoys that experience, and maybe this would be a great gift for them. You know, something that a lot of people anymore have meditation rooms. People who, particularly the doctors now prescribe medication for people. We want to make this petal a little lighter right there. Brought that one out, and I think it was just sort of. There we go. You know, they do that, and then this is going to be a little bit lighter right here. There. And there was something that came out of the center of this that we didn't see, so let's put that in there. It's white, but there might be a tint of yellow to it, but right up in here. There, that makes it more interesting, doesn't it?
It gives a little bit more life.
Yeah, it just gives it a little bit more light. See, just sort of pop those colors up just a hair, right? That's all we're doing. Popping them up just there. All right, so just that's like the fourth or fifth coat of white, and that's sometimes what it takes to make kind of a cool painting like this. And I think I want a little bit more in the, let's see. Oh, that was this one. Where's my, I actually went and Googled flames. John got me some flames because I wanted these a little brighter than I had them. And because they have that sort of orangey glowy tip, right? Comes up here like that. Then kind of they're almost outlined. You can almost outline the flame in orange, but very gently. There you go. All right. So there you go is our lotus flower, you guys. How fun is this, right? Yes and yes?
Yes and
big
yes.
Time fun, right? Big time fun. Oh, you know what I see in this one flame? I've got to do one more thing.
Of course you do.
I see in this one candle, when John printed it out, in this one, in this particular picture, there was a tiny bit of blue at the bottom. Now that's sort of interesting, isn't it, in itself?
Tiny little blue and what?
Right here at the bottom, right down here.
Oh, the blue part of the flame, yeah. That's the blue part. That's the hottest part.
There's a little blue part of the flame right there. So we had to put that, right? Because we had some blue here that brought your eye back up. That was a clever thing to do. I'm glad I thought of it.
You're so brilliant.
I am.
That's why they call you the queen of
to
color.
clean my hands up, and I want to answer a couple questions that have come in. John, what are they that have come in before we close off?
Well, let me look them up. I don't remember offhand what they may have been.
Well, I just want to show you this. If you're not aware of this, these are not our sponsors, but I'm very proud of these. These are my favorite things to clean paint off my hands. Tub of towels. They do send me these from time to time, and I just want to mention them because they're absolutely the best thing I've ever found to clean acrylic paint off your hands and off your table and off of everything. They're designed for all kinds of things, and they're
even cleaning the house.
Yeah, you can clean the house with them too. Gosh, if you ever wanted to do that.
If you can find the time.
But I mean, all the years I've been painting, this has absolutely worked the best for me. And I tend to, otherwise I get very smart. I mean, look at these hands. There's black paint all over them. There's everything.
I don't understand how you get so covered in paint.
Well, a lot of it happens for me. I don't know about the rest of you guys. It happens for me when I'm opening a tube of paint. So I think the question came in, you know, you keep talking about professional acrylics, and I think the question was, I can't afford to buy professional acrylics. And we understand that paint's expensive, but if you're painting the same thing 5 or 6 times and I'm painting it once, then it actually costs you more money to use the cheaper acrylics. I remember my friend Dee Dee was in, well, she's still my friend, but Dee Dee's told me
Well, maybe after this comment
she
she
was
won't
raised
be.
in Bulgaria, and her father was very funny. He said, we're not wealthy enough to buy cheap stuff.
Which is true. You're going to buy 2 or 3 times the amount.
Yeah, so you're really not. But if you're on a budget and you're saying, okay, Ginger, I hear you, I'm going to switch over to the better paints, and I'm recommending either for myself, I like Holbein, I like Golden, I like Matisse. Sometimes you can find Liquitex that I'm not as fond of them, personally, in my opinion, as some of these others, but I certainly have used Liquitex for years too. So but the thing of it is that all of those are heavy body paints. And so if you can't, you know, just go out and buy yourself $150 worth of new paint, it's just about what it costs anymore to get all the colors that I recommend. Buy the white first. Buy the white. Start with the white, and then start with the cad red medium, and then start with the cad yellow. Get those colors. And then as you can, and then maybe
expand from there.
Expand from there, and magenta. Get those colors.
And what's the fancy magenta? What's it called?
It's called quadrichrome magenta, but they're all magentas are quadrichrome. They just, some people say it in their stuff, and other people don't.
The other topic that comes up a lot is, what should I focus on first? The canvas quality, the paint quality, or the brush quality?
And we say the brush quality because you can get by with a little extra work with your student grade acrylics, but if you don't have a good brush, you'll find yourself extremely frustrated. So my admonition would be to
oh, that's another quarter word.
I know, would be to
I owe you on that one. I'm out of money.
Okay, and it would be to start with the brushes. Canvas, you can paint on a tin can. It's really not that important. But the brushes,
brush,
then you
paint, canvas.
Brush, paint, canvas. That's the order I personally would buy paint in.
And we know a lot of other artists on YouTube recommend that you can paint with anything for the brush. And we had just found that people that have sent in artwork for personal art coaching through the Academy, and Ginger just says, have you tried this brush? And they say no, and they get it, and the quality just is totally different. And they can't thank Ginger enough. I mean, they're struggling with the wrong tool.
Yeah, and there's I have a video on YouTube called Can Your Brush Do This? So is it you or the brush? I think at some point you have to ask yourself, is it just that, because really this is a learned skill. I have great faith that you all can do it. So then it's just a matter, do you have the right brush, the right materials? How much paint are you putting on the brush at one time? And we tell people, come to the Academy. It doesn't matter. You don't have to know anything at all. We start with the back to basics, take you step by step, all the way up to those ultimate lessons we showed you. That's our goal, is to help you get as far as you can and just have fun with it. So there you go.
There you go. Well, that's all you get for your quarter tonight, folks. We will be back sometime in the near future. I'm not sure when this one airs.
And thank you to our moderators for the live chat on our premiere, because John
and we're sure you're there.
Thank you very much, you guys, for our moderators and for those of you who participated. And there we go.
And again, we have a new logo that we're running around testing before we start the new year. And at the end of the show, after we're all over and this comes back up for the final from YouTube after it's processed, please tell us what you think about it. Anything else you're looking to paint, what you want to learn.
Well, I want to show you now. Here's the one with the purple background. That was the first one I tried.
Bluish purple.
And then look at the black and see how much. I personally love the black, but you know, you may love the purple. So we all see colors differently. But in any event, hope you enjoy painting this.
All right. Thanks, everyone.